winter, but not super cold in my shop with a nice fire going. I've decided to do a fan request and make a Kiridashi, with a Nordic twist, of course. I'm going to make the blade look like a freshwater river is flowing into the salt water of the ocean, surrounded by rolling waves. I'll be making a serpent pattern to look like the fresh water, and a very compacted high-layer twist which will give the optical illusion of rolling waves. To the caustic Germanic people of Scandinavia, the water was everything. The fjords, the waves, the ships, all of it. Water brings life. It's easy to see why it was worshipped. This is the forging of the billet that will be made into the twists. I started with 7 layers, as that's really all I had on hand of blade steel. I went big with this project, and as someone said on Instagram, jokingly, now you're just showing off. And he's right, I am. I feel like I have to prove to myself that I still have it, and honestly to all of you. You have stuck around for so long, so I hope you enjoy this. I'm doing this all by hand, and not even stopping to grind off between forge welding passes, which means my fluxing and cleaning have to be perfect. My atmosphere has to be perfect in the forge. My temp, that blows from my hammer, no mistakes. I cut and I folded this 5 times to get me to about 220 layers, and it took all day. My arm was not used to this level of work after a few months, but after a few hours, old rhythms were easily found, and by the end of the day, it was like I'd never left. That second nature took back over, and I was well into the swing of things, so to speak. Once it's all done to the layer count that I like, I start to draw off a long 3/8 square bar, which will then be cut in half and used for the outer parts of the blade. One will be twisted clockwise and the other counterclockwise. This will give the appearance of opposite waves on the final piece when it catches the light. To say I have not been myself recently is an understatement. Between all of the constant blocking and banning on social media, it has just robbed me of my fun with this craft. It's been a long time since I've picked up a hammer, but working on this project, it really just felt like fire was flowing through my veins. I felt happiness and rage and joy, and all of those feelings that have just been muted as of late come back into crystal focus. It was like I was hammering a glowing orange arrow, reminding me my place in this existence and pointing me to where I go. Forward. My mentor, Rick Furrier, sent me this twisting wrench as a gift a while back, so I decided to finally use it over vice grips. Overall, it's better. Now it's time to make the serpent. I used some bloom iron and wrought iron that I'd made a few years ago for the serpent. The forge welding temperatures of this iron and wrought are way higher than that of the 1075 and 15 and 20. Getting them to stick without burning the carbon steels is really tricky, but I'm up to the task. The serpent is made up of 3 bars. The wrought in the middle, which I'm forging now, and then 2 bars of iron on the outsides. These 3 are then forge welded together, and once fused will be cut into a zigzag pattern, then hammered flat. In theory, it's not that hard, but the quality of forge welds have to be 100% impeccable, as the forces applied to these little triangle bits that are left on the bar are massive, and they will likely shear off if everything is not perfect. Looks like I've not let myself down though. Hammering this flat creates the motion of the serpent. Here I have to stop for a moment and explain. It was late in the day, and I was getting tired of moving the camera so much. So here I am forge welding a piece of 1095 onto the bottom of the Kiridashi to be the cutting edge, as the center bar would have been iron and wrought, which are totally useless to cut anything with. As you all know, I use hose clamps to hold my steels together, but I didn't have any small ones, and there was no way I was going to spend an hour driving into town to get them. So I used my larger ones, and I put a piece of dirty steel that wouldn't weld with the stack to make the clamps cover the distance. With the twists, they cannot be drawn out too much or it will muddy the pattern. I'm just squaring things up here and adding a decorative curve for my own visual pleasure. It came out exactly as I hoped. The wrought making a perfect river. The twist so layered and tight, catching the light like sparkles on the crests of waves. I've added motion to a flat object, and it's nice when something comes out the way you planned. It's nice when after years of hearing how much you suck over and over again, you can hold in your hand a little reminder, a gift from yourself to yourself that you are worthy, capable, and deserving of your seat at the table. Next episode, I'll teach you all how I sharpen, and I'll make a leather case for this, as well as a few other things for a fun little kit. Anyway, I hope you all have a great day, and a huge thank you to my Patreon supporters who have stuck by me through these darker days.